Mario, the cornerstone of any nutritious video game breakfast. Everybody knows Mario, and everybody loves Mario. Everyone in my family loves Mario. So Mario, he's my family. Mia familia. Tomorrow is the day we finally get to see the first footage of the Super Mario Bros. Animated movie. Nintendo and Illumination have told us very little about this movie aside from the cast, and I'm really looking forward to Donkey Kong making jokes about smoking bananas. This movie has been in the works for a while, and I've been reading about it for years, assuming in the back of my mind that it was never going to actually happen and that it was nothing but rumors and speculation and unfinished plans. So to finally have a promotional image, an official release date, a trailer tomorrow, and a leaked render of Mario's face, it's kind of surreal, and I am both very excited and very, very nervous. The too long didn't watch version of this video is basically that it looks promising, you can tell the people involved actually know at least one or two things about Mario, which makes sense given Miyamoto's direct involvement. It looks like it could be the light at the end of Mario's troubled cinematic history tunnel, but even if it's bad, it'll probably at least be funny. Regardless of its quality, I am hoping the movie does well, if for no other reason than to give Nintendo an incentive to make more movies based on their intellectual properties. I would really love to see an Earthbound TV series like a better version of Stranger Things, or an F-Zero movie with Nicolas Cage. A Star Fox movie would be a nice idea. It's like Top Gun, but in space. And it's made for furries. When Mario first hit the big screen in '93, it was considered by many to be an abomination of cinema, to the point that Miyamoto himself even admitted that he regrets the film's creation. With this new Mario movie, the big man finally has another chance to become a Hollywood superstar and translate his massive success as the face of video games to the big screen. First off, it's important to remember the biggest difference between this movie and the old one. This is not a live-action movie, this is an animated film. Animation is the perfect format for a Mario movie. The Mario universe is whimsical in such a way that doesn't translate very well into live action without looking weird. Look at this guy here. Of course, you all know who he's supposed to be, right? Well, obviously, that's Toad. Now to me, the old Mario movie from 1993 is actually a solid movie in its own right. It's weird and goofy and entertaining, but it's very much not a Mario movie. If you watch it, you're not thinking Mario, it feels like the obscure underground cyberpunk movie that your insane quirky friend who dresses like a ring wraith in public will show you. The movie has its place in history, but as a Mario movie, it is insanely wonky, but hopefully with this new movie, we can see what we really wanted to see from a Mario film. Mario stepping on Goombas, and Luigi making references to Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh no, did somebody get addicted to crack? Wah! That's my Luigi impression. Video game movies have a long and storied history of being less than stellar, but at the same time, game movies have a higher batting average now than ever before. It's not perfect. We still have terribly disrespectful pieces of garbage made by people who don't value the video game medium by any measure, but we've had a bit of a shift in terms of how video game movies are made. And I imagine a big part of that is that these decades-old franchises have fans who are also decades old, which means the people who now have seniority in the industry are more likely to have been exposed to the source material than they used to be. That is, unless you're the Halo guys and you actively avoid playing the games at all. To translate a video game to a movie, you have to have respect for the game and the medium, and that's where a lot of these movies tend to fail, because they don't respect the games and they don't respect the medium. They think they can just fill in all the blanks and turn it into something it was never supposed to be. To make a good video game movie, you also need to have a certain amount of respect for your audience, that they have some idea of the characters and setting. A lot of these types of movies will be like, okay, so I'm from the real world, and I got sucked into the fake world, and now the characters have to explain everything to me like I'm a baby, and oh yeah, did I mention I have freaking superpowers now? Oh no, the city's destroyed. I sure hope they didn't hit the pizza parlor. Sorry, y'all, Cranky Kong hid my meds. And then the movie gets like a 4 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes, and they're all like, who could have seen this coming? I guess they never wanted a video game movie after all. And meanwhile, in the real world, it's like, Yeah, we did actually. We just didn't want you to make something that's a complete piece of garbage. While you can pull off something with that formula, you gotta do it well, like the Sonic movie. Even that's not perfect, but you got Sonic versus Dr. Robotnik. He's talking mad shit, running through the streets of San Francisco like Sonic Adventure 2, and Eggman has his army of sick-ass CG robots. That's a Sonic movie. I think for the Mario movie, the best thing that we can hope for, realistically, is that it's a fun family film with a lot of loving references and nods to the actual games that isn't trying to be something that Mario was never supposed to be. I am not expecting a masterpiece or a 1,000-year door level narrative or story. I'm picturing a basic Mario Saved the Princess story, but presented in a more interesting way, maybe with a little more emotional complexity and drama. We do know that Foreman Spike is a character and is probably their boss, so there's probably going to be a scene where they get fired, which is going to be really mean and sad. Maybe there'll be a part halfway through where Luigi feels belittled and inadequate for being player 2, and then he leaves Mario on his own, but then something happens and he's like, no, I've got to save my brother, and then Mario gets caught and almost dies in a fire, and Luigi swoops in last minute and saves him, and he goes, waha, who's number 1 now, Luigi? Now, picture that, except it's coming out of Charlie Day's mouth. Why is Charlie Day? Currently, we have this promotional image, which looks very promising, at least to me, but it's worth ripping the band-aid off real quick. Mario's got no ass, which is going to be a deal breaker for some. I really love this shot. It looks like if for some reason Wes Anderson designed a Mario level. We can see some toads, which look great. Their jowls are a little weird, but that's probably for better mouth movements and lip syncing than the games had. There's a little Cheep in a bag. There's an antique shop selling P-switches and music boxes from Super Mario Bros. 3. There's a Yoshi egg in a little glass case. There's a pie store, which might be a reference to this Game & Watch gallery thing, but I might be reaching a little bit. I like how it almost looks like a Mario level. You got these little blocks wrapping around this mushroom building like an actual platforming level. I don't know how much of this will be authentic to the actual movie. The way it's composed seems like it's more intended to be visually impressive than to be an elaborate representation of the actual world, which is kind of the point of a poster, so do with that what you will. With regards to Mario's leaked face graphics, I'm actually not too bothered by how this looks. In animated movies with a lot of talking, the characters had to be able to move and talk in a way that is at least somewhat reminiscent of the way an actual human would move, and it's possible that they didn't think they could achieve that with a simply high-poly version of his model from Odyssey or Luigi's Mansion. I imagine some people probably won't like it and might think they can fix it, but half of Twitter also thinks smear frames are bad animation and that 60 FPS interpolation looks good, so what do they know? To make a long video short, the poster looks promising, Mario looks kinda funky, and like I'm pretty sure I said in some video 3 billion years ago, I don't know if it'll be good, but I know it'll at least be funny, whether deliberately or not. I mean, Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong, how can that not be funny?